Hello my friends and welcome. This is the story about St. Patrick, one of 3 of our Irish patron saints. Did you know that St. Patrick is not only the patron saint of Ireland, but he is also the patron saint of Australia, Nigeria, and Montserrat, which gives him universal recognition. St. Patrick's Day, or, as us Irish refer to it, Paddy's Day, falls on the 17th of March in almost every country of the world, as people celebrate their Irishness, or links with Ireland through family and friends. St. Patrick is probably the best-known saint around the world, after St. Teresa of Lisieux. Not only are many people named after him, with some 7 million bearing his name, but many establishments, institutions, and churches are called after him too. St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York is the most famous of all. Patrick was born in Wales, of a Romanized family. It is not possible to say with any assurance when he was born. There are however, a number of pointers to his missionary career, having lain within the second half of the 5th century. His connection with Ireland started when at age 16, he was torn by Irish raiders from the villa of his father, Calpurnius, a deacon, and minor local official. Patrick was taken to Ireland and put into slavery. He spent 6 bleak years as a herdsman, guarding his master's sheep, in case wolves, wild dogs, foxes, or wild bears might take them and their lambs. He did this on the slopes of the Slemish Mountains in County Antrim. During this lonely time, he turned with fervor to his faith. One cold night on the mountains, he had a dream that a spirit told him about a ship that he could escape in, that was leaving Ireland, and how he might be able to take it by travelling south, to near Dublin. He was ready. He fled his master, and found passage back home to Britain. There he came near to starvation and suffered a second brief captivity by raiders of the Pictish tribe, before he was reunited with his family. Thereafter, he may have paid a short visit to the continent, most likely France, where he himself was ordained as a priest. The best-known passage in the Confessio, a form of autobiography, Patrick writes about a dream after his return to Wales, in which delivered was a letter headed, "The Voice of the Irish." As he read it, he seemed to hear the people of Ireland beseeching him to walk once more among them. Although this deeply moved him, he was reluctant for a long time to respond to the call. Even on the eve of the journey back to Ireland, he was beset by doubts of his fitness for the work ahead. Once in Ireland, or, as it was known then, Hibernia, which means the land of winter, his hesitations vanished with untiring zeal. He set 2 goals for himself: first, to evangelize the pagan Irish, and second, to set up the ecclesiastical structures and dioceses, with a view to achieving independence from Ireland, which was supporting the missionary activity in Ireland up until that time. Ireland was not ecclesiastically independent, but came under the jurisdiction of France, which in turn was connected to the great Mediterranean Sea by the Rhone River, and from there a direct link to Rome. Patrick wanted to break this link and form a separate independent center to the ecclesiastical jurisdiction of Ireland. In diplomatic fashion, he brought gifts to a kinglet here, and a lawmaker there, but accepted none from any. On at least one occasion, he was cast into chains. Careful to deal fairly with the non-Christian Irish, he nevertheless lived in constant danger. The evocation of such incidents of what he called his laborious episcopate. In point of fact, he was a most humble-minded man, pouring forth a continuous paean of thanks to his Maker for having chosen him as the instrument whereby the multitudes who worshipped idols and unclean things had become the people of God. The phenomenal success of Patrick's mission is not, however, the full measure of his personality. Since his writings have come to be better understood, it is increasingly recognized that despite their occasional incoherence, they mirror a truth and a simplicity of the rarest quality. Not since St. Augustine of Hippo had any religious diarist bare their inmost soul, as Patrick did in his writings. Toward the end of his life, he retired to Saul, where he may have written his Confessio. It is said that an angel conveyed to him that he was to die at Saul, the site of his first church, despite his wishes to die in Ireland. His last rites were administered by Saint Shamrock. Before the end of the 7th century, Patrick had become a legendary figure, and the legend has continued to grow. One of these tall tales would have it that he drove the snakes of Ireland into the sea to their destruction. This never happened, however, as snakes have never existed in Ireland. Patrick himself wrote that he raised people from the dead, and a 12th century hagiography places this number at 33 men, some of whom are said to have been deceased for many years. He also reportedly prayed for the provision of food for hungry sailors, who were traveling by land through a desolate area, and a herd of swine miraculously appeared. Another legend, probably the most popular, is about the Shamrock, which has him explain the concept of the Holy Trinity to an unbeliever by showing him the three-leaved plant with one stalk, which he explained represented the Holy Trinity. Traditionally, Irish folk have worn the shamrock, which is the national flower of Ireland, in their lapels on St. Patrick's Day, March the 17th. St. Patrick's Day is possibly the largest festival of the year in Ireland, lasting a week, with various multicultural and fun events for all the family and visitors alike, and with an estimated 500,000 people packing Dublin's city centre for the actual parade. Celebrations generally involve many public parades right around the country, along with festivals, ceilidhs, and the wearing of green attire and shamrocks. It is our national holiday, and we are both proud and happy that it's celebrated around the world. A celebration where everyone is welcome. And that, my friends, is the story of our Welsh patron saint of Ireland. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.